What's up, everyone? All right, well, great day in the large account today, up $35,000, $34,000 between my two large accounts, the main account and the retirement account. So made some really nice progress. Most of the profit was on SNOA. It was our second leading gapper, big momentum, and just picture perfect price action, at least pre-market and into the open. It started to get a little choppy at the open. It did this rip up into a halt, a dip, and then a rip higher, a pullback, another move higher, just crazy, but such a huge range. I got a little nervous at a certain point because in seconds it could be down 40 cents and then back up 60 cents. So I was like, you know what? I think this is the time to shut it down. I'm on my traveling trading station. I'm on vacation. It's August. I got some really great redemption last week, 60,000 in profit. This week I'm now up $80,000, which means I've just crossed my monthly goal, $100,000. And that makes up for the 30,000 I lost in the first week. So now 3 weeks into the month, I've hit my monthly goal of 100 grand, and going into the last week, last 7 days or so of August, I can kind of coast, which is exactly what I want to do while I'm on vacation, summer, right? It's August, let's take it easy. So now I can scale back a little bit, just ride the momentum through the rest of the week and rest of the month. As always, in case you didn't already know, my results are not typical. The typical experience of most beginner traders is that they lose money. You should assume, therefore, that you will also lose money. With that assumption in mind, trade in a simulator before you put real money on the line. I hope you guys enjoy the recap, and I'll see you first thing tomorrow morning, Friday. We'll try to finish up the week, hopefully, with a couple more green trades.
All right, everyone, so $34,000 on SNOA, $24,000 in my retirement account, $9,600 in my main account, so that's just under $34,000, $35,000 in profit. It's been a really solid day. I can't complain at all. Had a couple close calls. The closest call on it was my last trade, and that was my cue to hit the road. So my last trade on it, I bought 12,000 shares at 12.30. It's about 12.38, and then I added a little bit more. It was right here as it started to pop up to 12.46. So I bought 9,000 shares. It sold off. I added another 3,000. It hit a low of 11.80, and right in there with 12,000 shares with an average of about 12.30, I was down 50 cents. On 12,000 shares, I was down 6 grand. And I was like, oh man, this doesn't look good. But I waited. What was I waiting for? The first 1 minute candle to make a new high. Now, as it turned out, it ended up ripping before that 1 minute candle really closed. So it's kind of a funny trade, but it did. It ripped all the way back up here to 13. I threw out my order and I got filled at, let's see, you can see it here, 12.89. So I filled the 12,000 shares right there at 12.89. And that was that. So that put me up $9,000 in this account here, which is a terrific day. It was a close call, but a good day. And then it hits 13 and drops to 11.26. Then it curls back up here to 12.87 before a few minutes later breaking 13. Let's watch it. So it does another big red candle right here, a big rejection off 12.87, all the way back down again to 11.85. And then look at this. Those types of candles are stressful. That is not fun. We do not like to see that. So, but I was done. This was my last trade. It was right here. That's where I was out, and I was like, that's it. I'm done. I'm taking my money off the table. Maybe I'm leaving money on, the table, but I'm not going to give back profit. I just got really close to taking a good size loss on that of $6,000 to $8,000. So I'm going to shut it down, and I did, and I'm glad for that. So, you never know how much higher these are going to go. Yesterday, PMCB did end up going quite a bit higher without me, which is, good to see. And I didn't trade it. I didn't trade it at all later in the morning. I didn't trade it in the afternoon. And it went to like 12 bucks. But then this morning, there was news of secondary offering. And look at this algo flush. So the algorithm flush right at 719. What was happening at 719? At 719, news came out right here, announced a $70 million registered direct offering. You will never see a 4-point candle like that for the most part, unless there's some type of news. In 1 minute like that, I mean, we see them going up sometimes on good news, but it's that algo flush. And if you can catch it, if you're quick, you know, you could short it and you can make some money on it. When news comes out and you get an algo spike, you can sometimes jump on and you can do okay on it. And then you can also benefit not just from the initial spike, but then the continuation, which is what we often get to the green side. We get the initial spike and then we get continuation. On the red side, you know, you had people that were just throwing in the towel, that did a swing trade on this from $10 yesterday, thinking it's going to go back to 17, the 200 moving average. And then all of a sudden they log in this morning and they're like, oh my God, is this seriously down? Well, I mean, what percentage is this thing down? It's down 60%. Yikes. So that's a reminder. This right there is the reminder not to hold and hope, not to turn a day trade into a swing trade, and to remember that these small cap stocks, they can be incredibly volatile. Yesterday, I did very well on PMCB. We had this squeeze from $6 to $10. I made like $30,000 yesterday between that and the other one. I can't remember the name of it now. But in any case, had a great day. But you do not want to overstay your welcome on these. Sometimes they're going to put in multiple back-to-back days, like we had with Neuro. And sometimes you get one day and then you just get that, you know, huge flush. VRPX, this gave us 2 days as well. And it's still holding at 16, which is not bad. I don't think we've had any news of offerings or anything on this one. But, you know, this may give us more opportunities later in the week. But in any case, you never know how high they're going to go. So as day traders, our job is to find some low risk opportunities to get into a stock, to get green, and then shut it down. If you can walk away with $10 in your pocket of profit consistently each day, you're doing something that 90+% of traders haven't figured out how to do, which is make consistent profit. Now, $10 doesn't seem like a lot of money, and it's not, but that by itself could be proof of concept. Because if you could do it with $10 a day, what's the difference between 10 and 20? And then what's the difference between 20 and 40, 40 and 80, 80 and 160, 160 and 320, 320 and 640? It's increasing, ultimately, share size in this scenario and increasing risk tolerance. And so there is some scalability to the market. There's limits to that. You can't take, you know, some people will say, Ross, you know, if you're such a good trader, why aren't you a billionaire by now? Well, I can't take, you know, I can't take 10 million shares of every day trade I take. It's not exponentially scalable, which is the limit of the market, and that's fine. So, you know, you have to be mindful of that. As you increase share size, risk goes up, liquidity can be a problem, and there is a limit, but most people are not going to be facing that as their major problem as a day trader. Most people, their major problem is going to be just finding consistent profitability. So in any case, so back to SNOA. SNOA, I started trading it fairly early this morning. My first trade on it was $3,400, and that was trading it, let's see, that was through this level right here at about 8 a.m. I kind of thought, you know what? I can't wait on this. I can't afford to wait. If I wait, I'm going to miss the opportunity. So my first trade on it was pretty early. Let's see, it was in my, yeah, it was in this account. So I was in it 925. That was my first entry. Added at 936, took profit at 957. Added back at 960, stopped out at 948, added back at 929, sold at 967, 975. And I just kept trading it as it went higher. So I got a bunch of opportunities there on SNOA. I took a little bit of a break between 8:13 and 9:26, which is when I got back in that trade that was 9:23, 9:26. I guess I thought it was 9:38. Some of the ads were, but anyways, that was a close call. But all's well that ends well. So that's how I finished my day there in that account. And Yeah, it was just, for me, I just thought if I waited, I was going to miss it. So traded this first move, then it pulled back, hesitated on the dip off the VWAP, but then did get some nice trades as it started to open up and move higher, and then traded it going into the open here and got a nice trade through this area, both in the small account and in the big account. It's not easy to trade in multiple accounts at the same time. There's no question about that, but it's a little bit easier when you've got some nice momentum on your side. So let's see. So on our scans today, the other one that I traded briefly was BCTX. Where's my scanner? Here it is. So BCTX was kind of interesting. You can see I'm red 63 on it in my main account, and I'm down 114 in my retirement. I traded it in both accounts, lost on both sides. It wasn't able to really hold up, and so BCTX, it started to pop up, and I thought, okay, you know, this is giving us something to work with at the moment. At that moment, I wasn't really sure about SNOA. I thought it might not really work out that well. BCTX. So this was our action on it pre-market. So I jumped in at 690 for the break of 7, right in here, and we hit a high of 707 and then pulled back. So that was my one trade, and then it just pulled back into the open. BioC, this was another one that look at that move. Ugh, these are the candles you just don't love seeing, but it's just the way it goes. So that was one I saw, but would have been good for the small account, but I didn't think it was obvious enough. I was trying to just focus on the leading gapper, and SNOA was just the most obvious one today. There was just no question about it. So that was the one to get aggressive on. I did. It paid off. I'm up a little over $34,000 today, $34,500 to finish the day. Most of it, all of it, except for, you know, this little loss was on BCTX. So all of it on SNOA. So that's it for me. I'll be back at it tomorrow. But the nice thing about today, which I didn't show you here, so let me, oh, this is my CMG account. So let's see, I'm just gonna move this over here. Adjust my screen share. Okay, so this is August. So August 2021 here, and I've had a really nice hot streak for the last week. The first week of the month, I was in trader rehab, had 2 good days, then a red day, a small good day, and then a relapse, a big red day. And then last week, just started to get dialed in and had a really nice stretch here. Yesterday, I traded very actively. I think I even traded more today. So 33,000 yesterday, 34,000 today. That's $66,000, $67,000 in 2 days. Plus the 11,000 from Tuesday is 77,000, 78. Plus this, we're up at $80,000+ this week. So now when I look at my my equity curve here for the month, win-loss expectation, you can see how I went from being green by 10,000 to red by 29,000. And now I'm back to up 85, which is fantastic. The only thing that I'm aware of is that I'm still probably a little red. See, look at this, versus the end of July. So by the end of July, I was up 388,000 before in the last week losing 150. So now I'm still down 35,000. Well, you know what? Today is going to pretty much bridge that gap. Not quite. I'm still down like 2 grand, but it's just about going to bridge that gap as I come back to almost my record high. So my account is almost back to all-time highs in terms of profit. So if I have a good day tomorrow, it'll cross that level. So although I'm down a little bit there, sort of in that view, based on the view of the month of August standalone, I'm in good shape. And this is now, today's going to put me up over my monthly goal, which was 100 grand. So crossing up over 100 grand today is going to be really nice. And we still have obviously a full a full week left. Worth noting, perhaps, big loss here on these mid-range stocks between 20 and 50. This can sometimes get me into a little bit of trouble, as we sort of know. That was on BYSI, which I just got totally smoked on earlier in the month. It was sort of remarkable how much I lost on that stock. It'll be one of my biggest losers ever, for sure. But performance by instrument volume, the majority of the profit has been on stocks with at least 10 million shares of volume, and most with more than 25 million shares of volume. And most of the profit has been on stocks with relative volume that's at least 150 times higher than the 50-day average. Why is that? Well, that's because, as we know, stocks that are gapping up usually have news, they have a catalyst, and because of that catalyst, they're going to trade on high relative volume. So the majority of the profit has been on stocks up more than 10%, a little bit on the less than 10%, but and the majority on stocks gapping up more than 2%. So anyways, just some little metrics for you there. But profit loss ratio is not great because I did have, a couple big losses. So this month I do have a negative profit loss ratio, but the accuracy has been 70%. So as long as I can keep the accuracy high, I can get away with having a negative profit loss ratio. It's not desirable, but it can be done. So anyways, that's it for me. Hope you guys have a good rest of the day, and I'll see you first thing tomorrow morning, Friday. We'll try to finish off the week with a couple more great trades. All right, I'll see you then.
I hope you really enjoyed that video, and make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Our goal is to hit 1 million subscribers this year, but we won't get there without your help. So please, please, please hit that subscribe button.